This isn't just another podcast. It's a movement, a global wave of women from Nairobi to Nashville, Seoul to Sao Paulo, stepping out of the shadows and into the spotlight. Women who are ready to be seen, to be heard, to be unmuted. I'm Anjali Marshall, an award-winning ABC and NBC journalist and speaker, turned business strategist, coach, and mom. My mission? To amplify the voices of women who were never meant to stay silent. One woman, one voice, one story at a time. So go ahead, put on your comfy pants, grab a coffee, and maybe the remote. Are you ready to press the button? Unmuted starts right now. Hey, and welcome back to the Unmuted podcast. I'm your host, Anjali Marshall, and I'm very excited for today's episode. This, by the way, is the podcast where we amplify the stories of women who are rewriting the rules of success, and they refuse to stay silent. Women who lead with wisdom, with courage, and global perspective. And today's guest is no different. Her name is Paden Sickles. She's an Army veteran, an innovator, and the CEO of SickFit, a company redefining what it means to solve problems that matter. Whether she's leading soldiers, designing high-tech socks, or inspiring new entrepreneurs, Paden's story is all about using every hard-earned lesson to serve a bigger purpose. Welcome, Paden. I'm so excited that you're here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yay! I'm so excited. Okay, so one of the things that excites me most, Paden, about you is that you don't have this like really linear story. Like you have this story that I think so many people could relate to. Like my experience isn't just over here or over there. It's kind of like this vast array of things that I've done in life. Tell me about your experience. You are an Army veteran, and there's so much that comes after that as well. Like take me on this journey.
Yeah, where do we start? Do we have enough time for that? No, honestly, so I come from an entrepreneur background, I'll say that. But I mean, I went to college at the University of Kentucky, graduated with a BA there, and then from there, I commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Army. After that, I ended up spending some time there, got my master's at Northern Kentucky, and then I was just really in the military for quite some time as an Army engineer officer for over 11 years. I got to do everything really cool, right? We got to blow stuff up. I got to, build concrete pads in foreign countries. I got to do a little bit of everything. It was an exciting, exhilarating career, and it kind of taught me and shaped me to be who I am today. And I'm currently finishing my dissertation at Liberty University with my DBA. So,
girl, you better stop it.
I don't tell people that. I got you only for the show.
This is amazing. Okay, there's so many things that I want to talk to you about. But first, let me just ask you, do you ever take a moment and just sit and say, wow, I did that.
Yeah, I like to say that I love to buy myself the flowers and actually smell them. And what that really means is as we complete these milestones and these things in our life, like really just sit in that, soak in it for a second and celebrate it, because, oftentimes we diminish and devalue what we do. And, I'm on my technically, I guess, third career. And it's, I just turned 31. So it's like, and I know that holds value and a lot of people can be inspired by that, but it's just continually just, helping the next person and making the road a little bit smoother for the person after me. So.
Wow. First, how did you know that you wanted to go into the military after school? How did you know? Did you already have that plan in the back of your head?
So I wanted to go after high school. My parents were like, you have to go to college. I was like, okay. So they said, figure it out. You can join the military, but you have to go to college. And that's exactly what I did. So I did ROTC as a cadet through college. And then right after that, I commissioned as an officer. We traveled a lot growing up in and out of the airports, and I'd always see soldiers in uniform, and I just thought they were heroes, and I just wanted to emulate that and become a hero for somebody else, and that's what I did. So
well done. You are doing that. You're still doing it. Okay, so military, but an entrepreneur as well. Are your parents entrepreneurs? Is there an entrepreneurial spirit in your family? Like, Where'd that come from?
It's in the lineage, definitely. So my father is an entrepreneur, my mother's, and then my father's father was an entrepreneur. So I knew it was going to come at some point in time. I didn't know what facet or what avenue. I definitely did not think it was going to be socks by any means. Like, I did not think we were going to end up here. But yeah, so I knew it was coming. I just didn't know what.
Okay, so tell me about socks. Where did that come from? Tell me the story. I want to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of like I told you, I spent some time in the military, and all the things we wear on our left chest, those are all physical activities. So it's 100 miles here, 60 miles there, 12 miles here, all these really cool, challenging physical activities. And I thought it was the boots, and I probably buy boots every 3 months or so, and they weren't working. And then I was spending about $200 a month on socks, just burning through them, and just nothing was working. So I was like, you know what? I was downrange, that's what we call it, in Korea at the time. And I just started Googling socks, and I found a bunch of sock manufacturers near me. So I would just start getting samples and trying them out and getting a bunch of them. And yeah, that's how we got here today, is just start sampling while I was in the military. Really, it was just to solve a problem for me initially, but then I saw the aftermath and the effects of that I wasn't the only one experiencing it.
Okay.
So really well in the military space. And after that, people were like, hey, Paden, you got to take this elsewhere. This is bigger than the military. And I was like, whatever. Okay. But then we ended up getting picked up by Inc. magazine for some Paralympic and Olympic athletes, and they won the Paris Games, and they placed, and that was really cool. And then from there, I started working with, there was one of my customers, his name was John. He reached out to me. He's like, hey, Paden, I just wanted to let you know that your socks changed my life.
Wow.
That is a powerful statement. A sock? What does that mean? How does a sock change your life? Yeah. And he was struggling with neuropathy and chronic foot pain. And he said for the first time in years, he could walk comfortably again. So I really listened to that, kind of put some R&D behind it, figured out what that really meant to me and meant to us. And I was like, hey, Paden, this is your aha moment. You're really onto something. You're really doing something. And then fast forward, more recently, we've been able to develop a sensory sock for autistic children. And that came from just listening to our users and our feedback. I have a mother who has a daughter. She said, hey, Paden, my daughter will only wear your socks. I don't know why that is, but I just want to let you know that. So I'm like, all right, we'll figure it out. Let's put some R&D behind it. And
oh, great.
Created this sensory sock that has 5 sensory components to it. So it's just everything socks. My friends call me the Steve Jobs of socks. Yeah, that's it.
Take that for sure. Okay, but here's my question. Mm-hmm. What was the problem with the socks that you had? Because you said there was a boot challenge and there's also a sock challenge. I know soldiers are on their feet all the time. Everybody who walks is on their feet, but this is different. You're on your feet.
Absolutely, on my feet. There was multiple problems. It was they weren't breathable, so the moisture started to create. There was moisture in the boot, and it started to create blisters and that kind of that wettish feeling. And it was that, and then some of the compression socks were too tight, so it was restricting the blood flow. And then the big thing for me was the pinky toe would always rub. The back of the pinky toe, and then on the back of the heel, it was too loose. So it was starting to create friction, and it would rub on the back. So, it was, I'm a woman at the end of the day, so our feet matter. And I want to wear heels. So, yeah.
Same. Yeah. And so you also, I've noticed when I wear, because I'm a sneakerhead, I'm not a sneakerhead. My husband's a sneakerhead. I love comfort. Mm-hmm. So I wear sneakers every single day. That's just what I do. But I've noticed also that sometimes, how socks have the line over the toes? Sometimes when that goes around the pinky toe, that can blister my toe.
Exactly.
But what do you do? The options are so limited. And so
I fixed it, girl. You need me.
So excited to hear this because you're meeting a need. This is an actual need that I think so many people realize there's a need, but they don't even look into it. It's just there's no options. So I just got to keep going with it, and I'll just, kind of sweep it away, but it's still a problem. And so when people wear your socks, what is the difference?
I love to say that our Google reviews and our reviews say it better than I do. But honestly, we've been told that we have feet pillows. We've been told that it's clouds for your feet. We've been told really it's just everything that everybody says they offer, we actually offer and have the case studies to prove that. So, we've tested in different climates. We've tested it on different, types of people, from nurses to patients with diabetes to people in the military, first responders, fighting fires. So we've done the work and we actually have the proof. So
that's amazing. This is I have a 6-year-old son, and he's learning like different words that he thinks are really cool. He's like, "Mom, that's sick." And that's the first thing I thought
about. That clearly,
this is sick. This is so cool. So here's my question: when you mentioned Korea, you were in Korea, you knew there was a problem, you just started Googling stocks, manufacturers, all the things. Take me from that point to the moment when you realized, I have a business here.
Let's see. I was spending so much on samples. It was like, oh my gosh. I think, what nobody tells you is the sampling process is expensive. I probably spent over like, I don't know, 12,000 to 15,000 in samples alone. Crazy, right? And I was like, if I had a business, I could probably write this off. So I created a business in the process just so I could stop using, Paden's personal funds and write it off. So that's when it turned from, okay, let's make this a business.
That's good.
It was also my friends in the military, like, hey, can I have some of those stocks? And I'm like, I can make money off of this. So
I'm selling this to you right now.
So
yeah. Wow. Okay. Question: have you considered government contracts?
We hold a few. Yes, absolutely.
That's amazing. That's not considered. It's not considered. Oh my goodness, my brain. Conflict of interest or anything because you're in the government, in the military.
Well, I'm out, so no.
Nope. Got it. Okay. You're like,
basically,
I gotta do business.
Right. So, my transition was very, this is not the question you asked at all, but my transition out of the military is very unconventional. And that's where like the storytelling and then the resilience really comes from is, for me, it was, I had 2 ACL reconstructs back to back. So the first time it was like ACL, MCL, lateral medial meniscus, PCL, LCL. Every L in the leg, I did it.
Every L.
And then the second time, it was probably about a year later, I think it was, year and a half. I ended up tearing my ACL again, just ACL this time. And
same one?
Same leg. And, with that being said, it ended up causing like some herniated disc in my back and some bulging disc in my back. He hit a nerve, and you can only operate on the same leg twice. That's the rule in the military, like twice, that's it. So that happened. And then around the same time, simultaneously, I received the Pfizer vaccine. The Pfizer vaccine kind of gave me a rare heart condition. We were mandated to get the Pfizer vaccine. So that kind of all happened around the same time. And I was like, man, like, what is happening right now? This is a lot of like, like what is it? But at the same time, it was funny. It was the irony of it. God has a funny way of showing you things. It was things were taking off for SickFit, and my body was my health was declining. So it was like, hey, Paden, like you need to listen to your body and really make a decision and figure out what's next for you. And I was just being pulled more and more toward entrepreneurship, and that's really how I got here today. So.
Because entrepreneurship gave you the ability to sit down. Yes, right?
I don't know about that, but sure.
Well, I would hope that by listening to your body, then you have the ability to give more into your business. And there's no 9 to 5. Listen, I'm sure you are working because you have a business that people want. You have a product that people want. So there's probably not a lot of downtime for you. So take me through that process of, because at some point you have to grow, you have to scale. It can't just be Paden doing this on her own, right? So when was that moment, and how did you tackle that?
Oh man, so I initially it was just me, and then I started to bring on a group of brand ambassadors, and they were military heavy and veteran heavy. There's a notion, there's a rule out there, or there's like an unwritten rule that veterans hire veterans in some way, shape, or form. It's just natural. Like they say, if you empower a veteran, that they really create strong businesses, and then they also help build a lot of economies and really help bring more veterans to regions. And that was just true for me. So not just naturally. So I had a group of brand ambassadors that were a part of my team. And then a couple of them were veterans. It was like, hey, Paden, like, are you doing this to yourself? And I was like, yeah, I am actually. And they're like, well, do you need help? Like, do you want help? Like, you can hire me. I don't mind. And so I hired her. She's absolutely incredible and phenomenal. And still on my team to this day. And then she brought on somebody, and then it was another veteran. It was just kind of really just bringing people that align with the culture, my vision and mission and values. I always say that, I love to have a group of like hungry people around me that just are smarter than me in things that I don't want to do. And that's what it is. It's just, really giving them that sense of purpose and that why, and propelling them to have the creative freedom and reign to do what they do best. So
that's so cool. Were there ever any moments when you were still in the military, but you knew that the change was coming? Because I'm sure there was like this underlying feeling in your gut, like, I'm going to have to make this jump. At some point, I got to make this jump. Was that scary for you? Or was it just one of those things where it's like, okay, I got to do it, so I'm just going to do it?
I think that it's funny. I just had a conversation with somebody recently about this. And, oftentimes in the military, I felt like, one, I was no longer being challenged, and my brain was no longer being stimulated in the way that I liked. And I say that once I feel that feeling and I get bored, then I've outgrown the organization and I've outgrown what I was doing. So I think the military was a great foundation and stepping stone for me. But, there was more for me out there. And I found that like entrepreneurship is the biggest challenge I've ever had in my entire life. And, you experience every single emotion in the day by 12 o'clock, and, you wake up. Say that nonchalantly, but it's the truth. But it was I remember going into, we call it a brigade commander, who's kind of ahead of the brigade. And I remember sitting in the office, and he's like, hey, Paden, like, I just want to let you know, like, you're probably going to be separated just because of like everything that was going on. And I was like, I'm okay. He's like, no, we're going to fight for you. And I was like, no, it's okay. I'm good. So what's funny about this is not public, out there to the world. But what Pinky Cole does not know is that same day while I was sitting in that office, she had ended up posting a video in our socks. Like, we was probably a business, probably for like, I don't know, maybe like a couple weeks. And we had just got a whole bunch of socks in. And she had ended up posting this video. We got a bunch of followers. We got a bunch of orders. And yeah, like I really want to have a conversation with Pinky Cole again, and just like, hey, like, just so you know, like, this is the story, and just kind of like make it all a full circle moment. But yeah, that's kind of what it was. And it just kind of like, I was like, okay, like, that's your validation right there that you needed.
So good. Oh my gosh. Listen, I'm still overwhelmed. Like, there's so much. This story is an onion. There's so many different layers. Did you ever receive, or did you feel like you had solid mentorship during this time when you were building?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's great organizations to lean upon. And I think, while I was transitioning, I remember I had a boss who was not very supportive of my decision and very, I guess, team Paden in this aspect. Mm-hmm. And we always call it like a side hustle. And then I started, making a salary in socks. So I was like, yeah, now what? Yeah. Wow. But yeah, there's just so many great organizations out there to lean upon. And, there's, I can name a few where, Warrior Rising is probably one of the most phenomenal organizations that I've ever worked with, who's continually propelled me. They allowed me to like go in there. I actually met Martha Stewart through the organization. So it was really cool. And like, Martha Stewart calls me the sock lady. Like, this is not a joke. It's really cool. Martha Stewart calls me the sock lady. So
that's really cool.
And then there's organizations like Goldman Sachs, 10,000 Small Business Program. Absolutely phenomenal program. I always say that these communities give you that sense of family again that you had in the military. And now it's, so that, and then I would say there's tons out there. Like, there's a lot of, WeBank is a great organization. I just think it's, I like to say that date organizations and figure out who you sit with well most, and, figure out who kind of helps you and propels you forward and you kind of mesh with. Like, date around. It's okay. Like, you don't have to be locked into one organization. That's what they're all there for. So
yeah, that's so good. I know that in the military, my brothers are both former military, one Marine, one Air Force. And I know that discipline is important, right? So you have to have discipline in order to be successful in the military. How has that level of discipline shown up for you in entrepreneurship?
So initially it was my transition, I would say was it was, I just had so much time and I didn't know what to do. It was like days would go by and I'm like, dang, what did I do today? Like, it's 6 o'clock. Did I read? Like, what did I do? Like, so what's funny is while I was in the military, I hated the Outlook calendar. Like, I hated it. Like, just let us go to the field and train.
It had you on this, right?
It was everything. If it wasn't on the calendar, like we'd have like weekly calendar scrubs and daily calendar scrubs. And I was like, oh, this is so repetitive. But now that's how I live my life. So I'm like, it's such
wow.
But if it's not on my calendar, it does not exist. And my friends will tell you, like, if the trip is not on the calendar or whatever, it's not, you're not paid. Paden will not be there. Paden is not going. So yes.
You live and die by that calendar, right?
Definitely. But I think the discipline piece as well is just, you're just resilient. You're just hungry, So
I love that so much. You mentioned that you guys, that your company is partnered with Olympians. You partnered with para athletes. So there are women who will be watching this and they have this dream in their heart, right? And they're like, I know I can do this. But how did you come up with the opportunities? How did these opportunities present themselves? Did you go out and did you use brand ambassadors and relationships that maybe they had? Or did someone just see you and say, please come and help, come and do this?
Yeah. So I feel like I have a few different ways on this. At first 100% was all me. Like, hey, like code DMs, just kind of I would say like, you really had to have a real problem and you had to solve that real problem. Like who are you really serving? Who are you targeting? Just knowing all those things and just being able to articulate really what you do and really solving a real problem.
Yeah.
And just leaning on that and just educating people on that. But I would say that the outreaches and things of that nature is just going to events and opening your mouth and asking for help. That is the biggest thing. So many people are afraid to ask for help. And I tell this story all the time, but I remember going into an organization and I was like, hey, this is who I want to talk to. This is where I want to go. And this was public on stage. I said it in the keynote. I was like, this is who I want to talk to. And yeah, like when I got off stage, 3 people were lined up ready to talk to me to put me in those rooms for the organization. So closed mouths don't get fed. Be bold, be vocal, say what you need, because there's so many people out here that want to help you and want to do good and want to see you succeed and scale to the next level.
Brilliant. Brilliant, woman. You were speaking on stage at an organization that asked you to come and speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So how did you find that opportunity?
As soon as I got out of the military, people were like, hey, can you come speak on my stage? And I'm like, me? Like, what are you talking? Like, me? I'm not a keynote speaker, but sure. So, so people just kept calling me and I'm like, sure, I'll be your keynote. Like, I've never done this before, but whatever. So then it started to just kind of grow. And I'm like, okay, people just, I think that, kind of like you mentioned earlier, I think I have a very unconventional story and I have a way of being able to really, I've kind of touched every industry a little bit. Like my background is in engineering. In college, I was a personal trainer. And then it's just, I have so many resilient moments that I could have failed and I flopped and I just kept going. So.
How many times would you say you flopped?
I would say, I can't give you a number, but I know the biggest. And that was probably, I would say last year around this time frame, I had lost both my grandparents back to back in a matter of 2 months. And then right after, actually it's around this time frame, literally around this time frame. And then right after that, I got back from flying home from the funeral. I came back and I went to the warehouse and the warehouse was burglarized. So we had a big break-in and I just wasn't in the right headspace to handle it at the time. So I called the cops. Cops came over. They kind of did an assessment and everything. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to close it up, leave for the day. And then the next day was Sunday. I didn't go back over there because it was Sunday. We had already been hit, to say the least. So I was like, whatever, I'll just handle it Monday morning. Came back Monday morning, we were hit again. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is not real life. Like, at this point, We thought it was like an in-shop job. I just moved to Dallas, so I was like, oh my gosh, this is fresh. Like, so all of that happened, and then that same day, like I said, they ended up the second time they ended up. I kept like they call them tough boxes in the military. They're like the big black boxes that have all your stuff in it. So
yeah,
I live in a high rise downtown, so I don't have a lot of space. So I put them over there too, and they kind of like took a lot of my military stuff as well. Right. It's like my military career doesn't really exist in a sense because they took a lot of that stuff. Hey, but it got me here, so we're good. But that being said too, I was trying to like go clear my head, just go breathe, to say the least. I was like, riding my bike downtown. I play tennis, so I stopped by the tennis court just to kind of see who was at the tennis court. I didn't even bring my racket, and they're like, "Hey, we're playing doubles. You want to play?" And I was like, "I don't have my racket." And they're like, "Just hop on the court." So I hopped on the court, and long story short, I ruptured my Achilles the same day, and I was like, "Oh my god, like what is happening?" So I ruptured my Achilles. And we had to move. We had already been burglarized twice. So I was like, hey, like I gotta get out of this warehouse. So I was gonna move the next day. But now I have a ruptured Achilles. So I'm like hurrying up at 9:00 trying to find like movers to move me out because now my Achilles is ruptured. So like I just laid on the ground that night and I just laughed. Like as soon as my Achilles popped, it was like that's all you heard. And I just laughed and I was like, God, like what are you trying to tell me? Like you have undivided attention. Like you have but it was right after that I had to do a keynote out in Atlanta, and I was this close to not going. I was like, I don't want to go. Like, I'm just not I just don't want to go. Like, so many things keep happening. Yeah. And I landed the biggest deal that I had ever had at the company. And if I didn't show up, what would have happened? Like, things happen, but you got to keep showing up. And that's what I want to tell everybody is just, you have to keep showing up for you and keep showing up for yourself. So then after that deal happened, I think it was, obviously I was like in a boot and everything. And then I ended up, that's when right after that I met Martha Stewart. And after that I was able to fly out and talk to Damon John and have a one-on-one with him and just keep showing up. Like when things happen, like that's not the end. It's how you come out of it. So
that's so good. You better preach, bro. That is amazing. Okay. Oh my gosh. What is your message? I mean, you just gave this amazing, just keep showing up. What would you say to women who are concerned about their legacy? Because this is your legacy. Like this is part of your legacy. How does one create a legacy that is worth creating, right? That's actually worth like taking a look at it and saying, this is disruptive. This is beautiful. This is something that I am proud of. How does one do that?
Yeah, for me, I say that I think I'm going to come back to this in a second, but I like to say great men move slowly. And that's Paden's slogan. If you know me, I live by it. And when I say men, I mean mankind, human race itself. Yeah. What that truly means for me is I didn't realize I had left a legacy on myself that my father picked up. So I was in my sophomore year of college, I was tasked with creating I was in African-American art history class. I took it for an easy A. Didn't even get an A out of the course. Crazy. No, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a very difficult course. Yeah. So we had to create this art piece, and I ended up creating this necklace, and then the pendant was my hand carved out. I don't know where this came from. To this day, I don't even know what made me think of this. Yeah. But on top of it, I wrote "Great Men Move Slowly." And I gave it to my dad, not thinking anything of it. My dad has had this piece on his bed since I gave it to him sophomore year of college. Wow. And as I was going through these things in life, like my ACL, the first one, "Great Men Move Slowly." The second one, "Great Men Move Slowly." I was the burglar, when we got burglarized and just things in business, "Great Men Move Slowly." Relationship, I just never understood it. And then one day it finally clicked when I was flying out to New York. I got a card in the mail right before I flew out. I didn't know what I was going to talk about. I'm a very natural person. And I opened up the card and the only thing in it was said, "Great Men Move Slowly." And I was like, man, that's what I'm going to talk about. I think this is Paden's legacy. This is what it is. And it finally clicked. And what that means is really with patience, persistence, and resilience and, that perseverance, you're able to achieve anything in life. And it's not going to be that sprint. It's a marathon, and you're going to go through things. And it's how do you continually evolve and grow from that? But taking that one step further, what does that legacy mean to you? Like for me, I know that the more I make and the more that people pour into SickFit, the more I can do and the more that I can impact. I can send that kid off to a training camp or whatever. And I use this story as well as I had a kid, he's pretty troubled. He's in the mall, had like some little hickeys on his neck. And I'm like, man, I want to save this kid. Long story short, he ended up coming out. He modeled for us. We built his whole modeling portfolio. He got picked up by a major agency and to be an engineer. And he's mentored by my brother. So it's like, it's that's what legacy means to me. I don't personally have kids, but I know if I continually affect these children and be able to plant a little seed in them that transforms. To this day, I still talk to this kid probably every quarter. He's like, hey, Miss Paden. And I'm like, hey, man, how you doing? Like, and that's really what that legacy is I might not have kids and they don't have, I don't have that legacy directly through me, but that kid will always remember me, always, no matter what. And that's what real legacy is for me.
That's legacy. You do have kids, Mama. I hate to tell you. You do. That's that burning in your heart, that burning desire to see them win, no matter what, and to do whatever you can to make sure that you're a part of that legacy. That's what that is. I hate to break that to you, but that's what that is.
That's fine. He's a cute little kid. That's fine.
I love it. And oh my gosh, I love everything about your story, Paden. Thank you so much for showing up. And I was writing down some things that I was like, oh my God, I have to remember this. Just keep showing up. Patience, resilience, and perseverance. Great men move slowly. This is your legacy. Thank you for leaving your legacy. Thank you for caring enough about this generation and the next generation to do the uncomfortable. You have been through some stuff. Yeah. You've been through some stuff. This is uncomfortable, but this is your legacy, and you care about that, and that's highly respectable. And I'm congratulations, because this is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Oh,
you deserve these flowers, Mama. You have led with courage. And now it's time for the part of the show that you're going to have to use that courage. Are you ready?
Of course.
Okay. It's time to have some fun. It's something I call hot mic.
Okay.
So, hot mic is
wrong. Don't judge me. Okay. Nobody judge me. All right.
What?
If I get the answer wrong and this is a Q&A.
No,
okay, all right.
There's no wrong answer. These are your answers. There's no wrong answer. It's not trivia. You'll see. It's 15 rapid fire questions. They're very strategic, but also really random. So here's the only rule, Paden. You have to say the first thing that comes to mind, okay?
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. Hot mic. Question number 1. Your go-to mantra on a hard day.
Keep going.
Keep going. Dream celebrity or athlete to wear SickFit socks.
LeBron James.
Hey, yes. Favorite place your military career has sent you?
Korea.
Okay. Least favorite?
Fort Stewart, Georgia.
No offense if you're from Fort Stewart, but that's not it.
All the offense.
All the offense. Best advice from a drill sergeant or a mentor?
Keep smiling.
Oh, okay. Socks, wild colors or classic neutrals?
White only.
White. Okay. Book or podcast that shaped the way you think?
10X is easier than 2X by Dan Sullivan.
Coffee, energy drink, or something else?
Matcha.
Matcha. Loves matcha. I cannot get with matcha. Your recharge ritual?
Full body massage.
I can get with that. Secret skill from your Army days that you still use today?
Being able to fly a drone. I'm licensed.
Okay. What's tougher, 12-mile ruck march or first business pitch?
Oh, this thought you got me. All right, hold on. 12-mile ruck.
Okay, all right. I was going to say that because business seems really easy to you. To me, it looks like it's easy to you.
Yeah, girl. Yes.
Song to get you out the door on launch day.
Congratulations. By Post Malone.
Love Post Malone. What makes a great leader in one word?
Grit.
Ooh. If SickFit had a theme song, what would it be?
Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar.
Hey. One lesson you hope every girl or young veteran hears in this.
Oh, that's hard. One. Remove like, little, and just out of your vocabulary.
Remove like, little, and just.
And just.
I'm just a mom.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by like?
So I just have like a little small business, or I have like a little or a
got it. Oh man, that's good. What's your hidden superpower?
Being able to influence and motivate people.
I would agree with that. Something that used to refresh you years ago or months ago that does not refresh you anymore.
Oh man, I would say, oh, that's hard. Oh, you got me stuck again. Used to refresh me, doesn't refresh me anymore. Tennis.
After the no, I don't do tennis anymore. I can see that.
Nope.
The small win you quietly celebrate the most.
Oh man, this is I would say watching my family be able to, we've changed roles, and it's now, our parents used to take us to these meetings and take us on the trips and get to see, we saw them in environments, and now they get to see me and stand on stage, and the roles are reversed, and be able to fly them out and bring them to the trips. So that's the most euphoric feeling ever.
That's amazing. And to take care of them, I'm assuming that's a good feeling, right? Yeah. Last question. The next big impact that beautiful brain is thinking of right now.
There's two, and we're really, really close. The first one I'm going to say is the launch of our sensory sock for autistic children and neurodiverse children.
Right.
And one, changing the healthcare industry in terms of really the diabetic foot care space.
This doesn't end. Like this just grows on it. It's growing and growing and growing.
Steve Jobs.
You're Steve Jobs, literally. I've heard stories of Steve Jobs. I've heard he was a brilliant mastermind, but he was really awful with people. You are better than Steve Jobs.
I love that. I've actually met his mentor. We actually, really? Yes, so I gave a keynote in Utah, and I use Apple references quite a bit. I study them. I love the Beats by Dre, and I made a reference to him, and in the crowd, he's like pointing to this guy, and long story short, it ended up being Steve Jobs' mentor. And he's like, "Do you want to meet him?" Somebody was like, "Hey, do you want to meet Steve Jobs' mentor?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, why not?" They're like, "No, like right now." And I was like, "Yeah, of course." Like, so meeting him, and we've had a few calls, and yeah. So,
what have you learned? The number one thing, and that will be the last question. The number one thing you've learned from him?
Be the product, and stay the product. If you sell socks, you sell socks. If you sell phones, you sell phones. If you sell jewelry, you sell jewelry, but make sure that you are always representing that, and that's your representation.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. Thank you so much for showing up with the best attitude and just this love of life and this zeal for what you do. I'm just so blown away by all that you've accomplished, and I hope that everyone at home will receive that message of you just got to keep going. Patience, resilience, perseverance, and great men move slowly. I love that so much. Tell people at home how they can get in touch with you, how they can support you, all the things, all your socials.
Yeah, absolutely. So for my personal, it's Paden Sickles on all platforms. And then for SickFit, it's SickFit. Just Google it, or SickFit Official across all platforms. And really big support for me means spreading the message and spreading the word. Like, people think oftentimes that you have to purchase to support, and that's not always it. It's just reposting that LinkedIn post or sharing that, that commercial we just did, and just continually getting the word out there for us.
That's amazing. Paden, thank you for being on the show. So excited that you're here. And thank you for, you're officially a part of the Unmuted family now.
Let's go. Hey, look at that. Yes. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Great. Look, I love the questions. I love the game at the end. That chef's kiss.
Oh, yay. I'm so glad. You never know how people will respond, but usually it's so much fun because nobody really understands what's about to happen. But I'm like sitting in the chair like, oh, this is so good.
You got me on a couple. I'm not, you got me.
I did. I got you on a couple. Paden, you are the best. Thank you so much. And thank you all for joining us today. This has been so much fun. And I hope that you were able to take that story of resilience and that you use it and unmute your voice because it's worth hearing. Thanks so much for joining us. And we will see you on the next episode of Unmuted. Bye, Paden. Thank you, guys. See you next time. What you just heard wasn't just a story. It was a spark, a glimpse into the heart of a woman living for purpose, and a reminder that when one woman shares, another woman wakes up to what's possible. These aren't just conversations, they're catalysts. I'm your host, Anjali Marshall, and this is the Unmuted Podcast, where voices rise, stories connect, and purpose finds its volume. Until next time, friends, stay unmuted.